Welcome, one and everyone, to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 164. I am your neighborhood friendly Oxhorn here, as always, with my suspenders set to maximum stun. I'm so glad you all came today. I am happy to be here. Very happy to be here. Why? Because today has been a day of not such good news. Not for me personally. I, of course, am fine, as I always am. However, the news in Egypt and the news in Libya is really affecting my mood in a negative way. So I am here to hopefully not think about those horrible things, and instead to smoke cigars, enjoy a little scotch, and have a fantastic evening with you, fine ladies and gentlemen. But first, before we get to today's festivities, we have to, of course, tell everybody that we're broadcasting. All of you are here, as always, because you are the super fans of whom I'm pleased to associate. But we must now tell the world that we are streaming live at scotchandsmokerings.com. And in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to say. Streaming live right now, episode 134 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Come on down and enjoy some beard with me. How about that? Yeah, come on down and enjoy some beard with me. Bam! Sent out to all the fans, just like that. Because that's how we do it here at scotchandsmokerings.com. Findora the Almighty Hunter says, Superfan that logs in up to 7 hours before you start. So me. Well, you know what? There's no shame in that. You are welcome to log in 7 hours before I start, 11 hours before I start, 48 hours before I start, or 5 minutes before I start. It's completely up to you. There is no shame in any of it. Just as long as you're here. Nethilo Holyhammer says, Hey Ox, you were right. I drank a little bit of scotch and my chest and stomach pains went away the next day. I was sick. Really? What do you know? That's the cure-all, right? Huh. Oh, interesting. Yes, I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. I am here and speaking into this thing. I hope you all can hear me, and I hope you all can see me, because I'm here with my my beard on full display. Zug Zug is doing very well. In fact, he's tuggable from multiple directions now, which is a feat, I must say. But enough about Zug Zug. We're here to smoke cigars, drink a little scotch, and have a gentlemanly evening. Sadly, I do not have my regular scotch glass with me. Now, I've got this massive jug, which, I don't know, I guess because I have it out, I'd better fill it, right? Alright, I'm going to fill this entire cup with the remaining contents of this bottle. That's going to be quite a lot of scotch, right? Ready? Alright. Just a splash left, I guess. It had the potential. It was large enough to accommodate quite a lot of scotch, but there wasn't much left in the bottle. So, I guess I'm not going to get completely sloshed today, much to the chagrin of our handsome viewers, I'm sure.
The great music of the 1920s and 1930s.
Whoops! I did. I said that this was episode 134, but it's 164, isn't it? Man, I am forgetting my numbers. Is it one? Yes, 164. Thank you very much. I'm going to. That was for Rest, who corrected me. Thanks for the correction. Episode 164 it is. Bam. There we go. Cardon says that glass is more scotch than I've drank from my Kraken in the year I've had it. It's just an ounce. I mean, look at that. It's just a tiny little ounce. In fact, I may get through the entire thing in less than half an hour. Cheers. Bottoms up. Now, today, we do not have branded cigars, no. We have unbranded cigars, and for those of you who are complaining about lag, I completely understand. Instead, try watching from Twitch TV, and then look for the Scotch and Smoke Rings channel. You may be able to find it there, and it may be less laggy for you. However, I designed this website to be void of lag, and so I'd be very shocked indeed, if you are lagging. David Sun 08 says not lagging for me. Thank you. Thank you. So glad you guys are here. Netha Holyhammer says, also, Ox, because of your advice, I now have a girlfriend. Well, thank you very much. I am so proud of you. I am so glad that you now have a girlfriend. This is a happy day. You literally made my day today. I was a little bummed. I didn't like the news, the politics going on in the world right now. And then I hear that you've got a girlfriend based on my advice, and I'm just absolutely thrilled and stoked. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a girlfriend, watch Scotch and Smoke Rings. That is the message here. I'm just saying, the more viewers I get, the more happy men and women will be in the world, because they will find their significant others, and all will be well. So, I guess I'm going to have to start making Google ads or something that says, looking for your spouse, looking for a mate, or looking for hot girls in your area? Go to scotchandsmokerings.com, where you will find your geeky other. I'd probably get some good clicks, huh? Should that be my next marketing ploy for scotchandsmokerings.com? Maybe I'm a matchmaking service, huh? Alright, I'm starting to get a little creeped out. No, I don't think that's what we want to do here. No, we will continue to pursue classy pursuits, which may sometimes involve putting together the loving hearts, but our primary goal is, of course, Scotch and cigars. Goldbreath says, Mr. Evil, make Mr. Evil have a dating show. Barnaby, which of these two young hearts should come together? Something like that. I'm pretty sure that would play very well. Now behind curtain number 3, an attractive blonde from Cornwall. Sorry, that just tickled me somehow. Bistro said single but not happy about it. My friend, that's okay. You're here. You're in the right place. You're at scotchandsmokerings.com, and in the audience before you today are probably an innumerable number of women under 30 that are geeky friends that would be happy to date you. But don't be forward. Be cool, calm, collected, assertive, with a certain sort of confidence that can only be obtained by having a beard and sporting suspenders. Hawkstar on Twitch TV says, no one on room, all for me. Yes, indeed, sir, it is all for you. If you're curious about all of the other people in the chat right now, we are at scotchandsmokerings.com, where there is a different chat room where people are communicating. But if you would like to stay there on Twitch TV, that is completely fine. I will read your questions anyway and answer them as best as I can. But it's time to light this bad boy, right? Set it on fire with the ignition and the sulfur. Here we go. Dan asks, what's the smoke? True story. So, I was completely out of cigars, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on cigars. Sometimes cigars can be fairly pricey, so I tend to be fairly frugal when it comes to purchasing cigars. But I was out, and I needed to get more. So, on my way home, I stopped by a local cigar store that I had never been to before, but it was close to me and convenient, so I stopped. And I walked through the door, and normally these places, unless it's a rare exception, are fairly unclassy. They've got a pornography section in the back that you just don't want to even mess with. And then there's glass pipes everywhere, and cigarettes, and, you know, also. But this one was actually a surprise. It wasn't as unclassy as I was used to. It had a huge section of cigars, which was really nice. Just the entire back wall filled with cigars. But they were all a little expensive, like $6 to $7 per stick. So I obviously went to the value section, and within the value section, I was bummed. Truly bummed, because I opened up the lid, and mold. I'm not even kidding. Covered in mold. Not just the cigars. The cigars were covered in mold, but the humidor itself was lined in mold. Yes, Ghoulbreath says mold. It was actual, blue mold. And I was, of course, grossed out. But those were the value cigars that were like $1 a piece, and I wanted to buy them, but... Now, honestly, when it comes to mold on cigars, it's not going to be the end of the world. You can just rub it off. unless the mold has penetrated into the leaf, and then you're ruined. But I just didn't even want to mess with that. So I went and looked at some other humidors, and I found one that didn't have any mold in it, and so I got these, and these were about $3 a stick, which was still more expensive than I really wanted to pay. But I ended up getting some. But as I was walking up to the register, I told the lady there, I said, look, I was quite dismayed when I opened up the lid to this humidor and discovered mold everywhere, and I brought her over and I kind of pointed it out, and she said, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, I actually kind of felt a little anal by doing that, but look, you're trying to sell cigars to customers, you don't want to sell moldy cigars, so I figured she was happy that I pointed it out to her. So, I did a good deed. That was my good deed of the day. Oscar Cactus says, I loved your newest movie, Ox. Thank you, Oscar Cactus. I'm so glad you noticed it. Go to growabeer.com. In fact, we'll go to growabeer.com together later and have a fun time. She-Devil is in the chat. Well, it's good to see you, She-Devil. You haven't been here in quite a while. The beard has gotten longer. It's now named Zug Zug. So that's pretty much all you've missed. Besides the birth of my son, which is equally important. Okay, more important. But pleasure to have you here as well. You need to get that Eat Bath Salts follow of yours in this chat sometime. And then we'll be having fun for everybody. Come back to Seattle, by the way. We need to take you to Pike's Place Market. I don't think we did that last time. Uber Alphamau from the Twitch TV says, Mwahahaha, I've taken over this chat. My good sir, I believe Hawkstar was there before you. So, he probably may have dominance there. I don't know. But that's okay. I'm looking at all my chats. I've got Twitter up here. I've got my live stream chat, which is on scotchandsmokerings.com. I've got my Twitch TV chat, and even the Facebook comments that are on the scotchandsmokerings.com page. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you would like to send a comment and have me answer it, I'm giving precedence to Twitter and Facebook. So if you write a comment on my scotchandsmokerings.com page with your Facebook account, I will be sure to give it precedence when answering. And if you give me a message on Twitter, I will also give it precedence when answering. Here's a question from Ghoul Breath on scotchandsmokerings.com. He asks, for one of the upcoming weeks at my school, us freshmen are dressing up, quote, formal. What do you think is the classiest formal outfit to wear for that day? Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the answer. And I apologize ahead of time if I go off on a tangent here. But here's the thing. There are a number of types of white collars. Right now I am wearing a pointed collar. These are very casual. They button down. What you want is you want a short popped up collar. This is a collar that is up like this around your neck, and then the edges are kind of like that, right? Have you seen those? And you iron them and you starch them, and they are very, very precise and neat. Then you get yourself a little bow tie. Now don't even consider for the briefest of moments of getting yourself a clip-on bow tie. That is blasphemy. Instead, go and get yourself a real bow tie. Go to like a consignment shop or some sort of second-hand shop in your area, because you'll be able to get some for fairly inexpensive. Find a video on YouTube and learn how to tie a bow tie. You'll have your bow tie, you'll be good. Third, suspenders. Now you have a number of options for suspenders, and I'll leave it up to you, but you don't want something colorful and striped like this. No, this is a formal event. You want simple black or white suspenders. The best kind of suspenders to get are the kinds that have button loops on the end, but of course you have to have buttons sewed into the hem of your pants in order to wear them. If you don't, you're just going to have to get the ones with the clips. So there's that. A white shirt. It's just a nice clean white shirt. You're going to want to get a suit jacket. The really fancy thing is going to be one with tails, but I know that's kind of outdated, but whatever, get a suit jacket that you like. Button it up, except for the final button. Never button the final button of a suit jacket. Makes you look a little bit too, I don't know, a little bit too formal. So just always leave the bottom one unbuttoned. There are absolutely no comments going on in chat right now. Wow. I am really only entertaining myself. Alright, fine. I could go on, but I understand. No, we're not into gentlemanly dress here at scotchandsmokerings.com, apparently. Goldbread says he's listening. Alright, one. I'm busy eating says I'm taking notes. Okay, that's what it was. You guys were listening intently? Alright, fine. I'll continue. So you've got your suspenders, you've got your clean white shirt, you've got your jacket, and it's buttoned up except for the final button. Great. You're doing well. Now, hopefully you have one with tails. That's great. Get a pair of either black trousers, dress trousers, or trousers that have a pinstripe. They need to be black and they need to be pressed. The crease in the front of them needs to start all the way at the very bottom and go all the way up underneath your jacket. It's a very precise and sharp crease. You're going to have to iron it really, really smooth. If you really want a good crease, starch them. That's the way to go. Next, you get yourself some socks. The socks have to match and they can't be white. Black is great, but if you want some sort of argyle pattern, that's alright. You can get away with it. And then shoes are incredibly important. You need to get a black pair of Oxfords. If you don't know what a black pair of Oxfords are, then go into Google and type in black pair of Oxfords. You'll find a picture of them. You don't want to buy them from Walmart. Now, if you buy them from Walmart, you're buying plastic. You want to buy real leather Oxford shoes. Again, you may need to go to a consignment shop or some sort of thrift store to get them, or maybe find some sort of thrift website online. Cardon says yawn. Am I really boring you all? Alright, look, I could talk more about how to dress for a ball, which I apparently am doing. Or we could continue on with the rest of the... whatever. So, wingtips, exactly, Dan, wingtips. Alright, I'm sorry, I'm just having way too much fun talking about formal dress. Make sure that they're real leather shoes. Shine them up really great. Take at least 2 hours to spit shine your leather shoes. And, of course, a top hat. Look, just Google Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. That's what I'm wanting, okay? That is classy formal dress. So, there you go. Hope you're having a good time. Cardon says, I'm a girl, I don't care. Are you kidding me? Most girls really care about the way their men dress, right? This should be very important to you, Cardon. You should be sitting here saying, oh, so this is how the man I am going to marry will dress. And this will be true. The man you will someday marry will come to you and propose wearing the kind of dress that I am describing in this eloquent soliloquy. Scotch. Cheers. Bottoms up. Alright, great question from Funky Kong. Funky Kong... Cardon says, as long as his pants don't drag on the ground, I don't care. Oh, Cardon, your standards are so low. You have the bases covered. Dragging pants is bad. But come on. Have higher standards will get you a higher guy. I'm just saying. No condemnation. I'm not condemning. There is no judgment here. Just saying, higher standards are better for everyone. Alright. Moving on. What was I saying? Oh, Funky Kong asks, Ox, would you recommend the beard growth serum? I have a light patchy beard that's more on my neck/chin than anywhere else. Alright, so what he's referring to is a product that I am selling in my shop at growabeardnow.com. That's right, I am growing a chin growth serum straight from Thailand. We talked a little bit about it on my show last week. It's made from traditional Taiwanese herbs and some sort of unnamed protein, which I sort of riffed on a bit last week. We're not going to go into the details of its ingredients, but it's sold as a beard growth serum that you rub on your chin. Right, so I've never actually tried it myself. Obviously, I didn't need to. It sort of came natural. But I do realize that there are some people who are not genetically predisposed to having a glorious beard. Now, genetics are the #1 cause of whether you can have a beard or not have a beard. So I'm not going to tell you that by rubbing this growth serum onto your chin and cheeks, you will get a magical beard. I really don't know. In fact, I'm actually really curious. If any of you have experience with this beard serum, I would love you to test it out, be my guinea pigs, then take pictures of yourself and send it to me so that I can tell the entire world, yes, this Taiwanese beard lube does indeed work. Until that time, I'm just going to have to say, based on conjecture, I don't know if it's really going to work. You can try it out, and then let me know. Thanala says, so I have no chance. I'm not saying that. You may indeed have a chance. In fact, there are some FDA-approved beard growth pills on my website as well, growabeardnow.com, that are probably, I mean, they're a little safer because they're FDA-approved, right? The Food and Drug Administration approved them, and it's designed to just give men the natural vitamins and minerals that they need in order to grow a beard. So if you feel like you have a vitamin deficiency, get some of those beard pills, and then maybe that will help you grow a beard. And if you really want to try something extreme and dangerous, go and get yourself some Taiwanese beard lube. And let me know how it works. ThunderGod91 says on Twitter, Brandon, I was not here last week due to me turning 21. Congratulations. However, cheers on the Scotch and Smoke Ring site, and it's laggy and slow. Ah, man, I like how you snuck that one in there so that I would read 11 there. Look, I have done a lot of work on scotchandsmokerings.com, but I know there is more work to be done, so I'm going to find ways to make it faster. By the way, I just did a huge new experiment at Oxhorn.com. Basically what I did is I synced it up with a content distribution system based on Amazon servers. So a lot of the media and material that I'm hosting on Oxhorn.com is actually being hosted on much faster servers on Amazon, so that when you visit the site, you're pulling the information from Amazon. So go to Oxhorn.com, let me know if it loads faster for you and if you're able to navigate the site faster. And if so, I'll go back and implement the same content distribution network here at scotchandsmokerings.com. Alright, so I'm just going to say this. I'm not directing it towards anybody. I don't have anyone in mind as I say this. But just as an aside, this is probably something that should be obvious to almost everyone. But just to say it, to get it out there, the fan art segment of this show, Scotch and Smoke Rings, is not an opportunity for one to promote one's own self. One's own website, business, machinima series. It's actually an opportunity for someone to promote one's own artistic abilities in the form of Oxhorn fan art. So I'm really not going to feel compelled to constantly promote a web series or a website or one's own logo or anything else that is really more self-promotional than artistic. So just as an FYI, if you're wanting to submit something using my Contact Me on scotchandsmokerings.com so that I can play it, make sure that it's a fan art and not self-promotion. That's all I'm going to say. No names named. Just putting it out there. Hawkstar says the video is uber laggy on Scotch and Smoke Rings for some reason. Hey Hawks, will you and your family be taking... this is a number of questions. Hawkstar, alright, I'm going to take a look at the site later. Probably after the show, I'll take a look at the site and see if I can get it working fast for you. He also says, will you and your family be taking in Halloween and costuming? And if so, what will you be dressing as? Well, great question. Yes, every Halloween we do go, and we usually go to a party. A friend of mine whom I used to work with in Bellevue throws this big Halloween party and usually invites us. Last year, my beautiful wife went as a pirate, and I went as a Mexican hombre with maracas and a giant sombrero. And a cigar, of course, and a mustache. So I had a mustache on top of my mustache, which was a lot of fun. Anyway, yes, I do tend to dress up for Halloween. I'm also fairly non-creative when it comes to my costumes, so I'll probably dress up as the exact same thing this year, unless anyone has any suggestions. I suppose I could put a bald cap on my beard and dress up as someone who doesn't have a beard. But that would be weird, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. Wow! Oster Cactus says, what should I do with my first tiny stash? And then Stumphorn responds and says, how tiny? Like invade Poland tiny? Okay, funny, but look, I'm calling it the Charlie Chaplin stash. That stash is a classic piece of mustache that it was sadly dragged through the mud by one tiny little tyrant. So if you ever feel like wearing a stash like that, just think Charlie Chaplin, because he pulled it off very well. In fact, I've got a section on my website, growbeardnow.com, that has an entire I've got an illustrated guide to beard styles. I've got the text written for my guide to mustache styles, but my beautiful wife hasn't finished the artwork for that yet. So I'm going to be getting the illustrated guide to mustache styles up soon, but in the meantime, the illustrated guide to beard styles is up on growbeardnow.com. ThunderGod91 on Twitter says Oxhorn.com is much faster and almost no lag. Thank you for being patient. I get paid tomorrow and will send the cigars thus. Also, thank you. My friend, you really don't have to send cigars if you don't want to. But if you do want to send cigars, by all means, I'm definitely going to smoke them. I'm not going to say no to free cigars. As you can see, I had to buy these today, and it made me almost late to my own program. But I am a fan of cigars. That's just the way it goes. Goldbreath says, Ox, dress as one of your characters for Halloween. Look, most of my characters are giant Taran or zombies, so I don't know if I could really get away with it. I don't know who I could dress up as. I can't do Hat. He's too tiny. I can't do Mortus. He's too bony. I can't do Oxhorn. He has hooves. Panda Exterminator? I could possibly do the Panda Exterminator. Or Space Orc? True, I could do a Space Orc. Good questions. I may have to do that. Goldbright says I dressed as Lieutenant Colonel Virtue one year. Really? You should have taken a picture and showed me. I would have promoted it all over the website. Forestil says, which one of you feeds Gavin at 2 a.m.? And will you be glad when he eats and sleeps like the rest of you? Yes, so my beautiful wife usually is the one who feeds the baby. She has been so good with him and so patient. He really doesn't, I don't think he wakes up at 2 a.m. anymore. He usually gets, well, maybe it is 2 a.m. He usually wakes up once during the night and then sleeps through the rest of the evening. So we tend to do all right on the sleep. Chaotic Anima says, will you be in world for the premiere of Pandaria? Possibly. And by possibly, I mean most likely not. I don't know. I would love to be, but I work. You know, I've got responsibilities here. So, not to get down and chat or anything, but I was really bummed today. I had a doctor's appointment. It was a great doctor's appointment. I got the medication I needed, which was very, very minor. And I got to work and sat down and went to look at the news, and there was all this stuff about people dying in embassies in Cairo and in Libya, and then burning of American flags, and then all this violence. And I'm sitting here trying to focus on my work, and then hearing all these horrible news reports, and then the president and his gaffes concerning it, and then the opposition party and all of their talk about it. And I'm just sitting here like, this is really the last thing we need, especially on 9/11. So I was really bummed about that. I'm just bummed about the whole thing. And then at work, I love all my coworkers. I love the job. I love my boss. But the boss decided to talk about politics today, very briefly and in a minor way, so that it wasn't out of line. But he did decide to talk about politics to the briefest extent today at work. And my personal philosophy is that you don't mix work and politics. You don't bring politics to work. That's it's obvious, right? That's just something gentlemen do not do because you don't want to alienate the people at the office who may believe opposite of you. And it's just something you don't do. And he did to a certain extent, and that bummed me out. Because I don't like divisions. I don't like, especially if you work with people and then having to deal with these divisions, having them worry about whether they're judging you because you believe a certain way, and then you may be judging them because they believe a certain way. I don't think that's wise, and I don't like that. So then that was a bit of a bummer. Dan says religion and politics. Indeed, yeah, right. I mean, many of you know that I have distinct opinions about religion and distinct opinions about politics, but I never bring them to work with me. Those stay at home. Those are my personal opinions. I'm happy to talk with people about them in private, but I don't bring them to work because work is a professional environment, and so that's just my personal philosophy on that. I even tend not to talk about politics during the show, although I do talk about religion on the show, so I don't know. Anyway, so I was a little bit bummed about that, but then I come to the show, and I've got my awesome cigar, and I've got my scotch, and I find out that Nethilo Holyhammer's got a girlfriend now, and there are so many awesome people in chat. I'm just feeling so uplifted, and I've got to thank you guys for coming to this week's episode and for cheering me up. So this one's to you, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers and bottoms up. Dave12345 in the chat says, hello Oxhorn, I would love to ask you a question. What is your favorite top 5 pipe tobaccos? I do like early morning pipe from Dunhill, but I'm always looking for something new. Great question. So here's the thing. The types of tobacco that I like are mixes. So usually the way that it's traditionally done is each pipe tobacco shop is going to have their own blend of pipe tobaccos, where they will order different pipe tobaccos online, or they'll grow their own tobaccos, and they'll flavor them and season them in certain ways and mix them up into this unique mix. And so I can only tell you what my favorite blends are. The local tobacco shop that I go to has an English, a dry English blend that's really nice. There's a butter rum blend that I really enjoy, and then a chocolate blend that I also really like. In terms of like the canned tobaccos, there was one called Dunhill Nightcap. That's what it was. Dunhill Nightcap. And I have to admit that I'm not terribly knowledgeable when it comes to tinned pipe tobacco, but this one was really great. So I guess I'm going to have to say Dunhill Nightcap. Barking? Why are you guys talking about barking? Do you hear someone barking? I don't hear any barking. Okay. Nethelo Holyhammer asks, how do I make a WoW comic without using Photoshop nor Model Viewer, since it doesn't work anymore? Alright, so probably the best way to make one without using either of those tools is to download GIMP, because GIMP is a free photo editing software, and then you're just going to have to take screenshots from within the game. That means you're going to have to learn how to mask, and you'll have to mask around the characters that you want, and then delete the footage that you don't want in the shot, and then learn how to composite them within the scene that you wish. A time-consuming and tedious process. So I would really encourage you to find a version of Model Viewer that works. Illustrator might work, Dan, but I believe Illustrator is for original illustrations, not for compositing video game footage. Gulbra says, hey Ox, me and my drumline leader and my band teacher were all playing penny whistles today in band. Woot! Well, congratulations, that's fantastic. I'm happy that the penny whistle is being used more often in schools, as it should be. Dave, 12345 says, thanks for answering. Yes, I do like Nightcap. It's really enjoyable. The early morning pipe is similar, but it has a sweeter taste that can make you feel like pancakes or French toasts. It's awesome. I can see why that would be very popular. My personal taste is averse to the sweetness of pipe tobacco. For those who don't know, there are some pipe tobaccos that come out very sweet. And that's because the seasoning that they put into it is like a dessert kind of flavor. And that's fine. Many people like that. I believe that if you have a very sweet tobacco, it tends to burn wet, which causes more tongue bite, which is an unpleasant sensation. So I prefer really dry pipe tobaccos where you really taste the flavor of the unique leaf. That's just my personal taste. That's probably why I enjoyed Nightcap so much. Dennis says, sorry, Ox and friends, as much as I would love to stay, my little sister has been left in my hands for a little while and I must go. No shame in that, my friend. Go on and perform your duty amiably. Shadable says, I gotta run. Shame, pleasure to have you here. Good to see you, and hope to see you next week. Any chance you'll play the beta tonight, says Greg Hartung. Sadly, no. I have a long laundry list of things that I need to do today, so I sadly can't play the game. Forrest Ill on Twitter says, there's nothing like Perdomo and tea to lift one's spirits. Lets you know how the swag is, and Nightcap too. Thank you. Yeah, do let me know. Perdomo, which, let me know a little bit more about Perdomo. I don't think I'm as educated in it as I should be. Uber Raffleman wants to know exactly what happened to the minicam. Simple. I've got a huge honkin' boil right there on the side of my head, and I don't want you to see it. That's right. Kind of hiding it. If you notice, I'm like looking this way and looking this way, and definitely not looking this way. And that is not an accident. That is indeed on purpose. So there you go. No side camera today. What do you know? Lepidus says, at some point I feel ignored by Oxhorn. Don't worry. I'll always answer your questions about you feeling ignored by me. I kid! Come on, my friend! We're just joshing. I'm busy eating says check your Facebook. All right, I'm going to refresh my Facebook here. Oh. Greg Hartling says, I was slightly appalled that you exposed your brains in your recent video. I was too. I didn't want to, but it was a spur of the moment shot. I was sitting there. I had just finished a bowl of delicious pasta, and I got it all in my beard. And my beautiful wife picked up the camera, started recording as I was cleaning it. And I happened to not have my head attached. So sorry you saw my brains, but don't worry, no zombies were nearby. Nethila Holyhammer says, you know, Ox, ever since I joined Scotch and Smoke Rings, I've thought of you as a great role model, but is it bad that I think of you as a happy, classy, gentlemanly father? As my own, I mean. I'm definitely not taking any fathership responsibility over you. I don't need to be taking you to ball games or Little League or anything like that. I know you're far too old for that, so don't worry. But hey, I'm happy to be a role model. My goal with the cigars is not to promote smoking or nicotine use, but it's to show that these things can be enjoyed properly and without abuse. And that is the entire MO that I've got going on here, which is why I do show them online. So I may not be the perfect role model, but I try to do as well as I can. I Am Busy Eating says, I think of Oxhorn more like an uncle, not the creepy kind. Thanks. I'm glad. The best thing, I would hate to be a creepy uncle. I'm trying to find your comment on my Facebook, but I sadly cannot discover it. Not exactly sure where it would be. Did you leave it on scotchandsmokerings.com? Because I just tried searching through them by reverse canonical. ThunderGod91 says, your child is staring at me on Facebook via your wife. Alright, soak it on up, right? That's the gaze of a happy baby. I'm Busy Eating says, is there some gray in your beard nowadays, Ox? Oxhorn, the wise Zugzug? Good question. You may have noticed that in my recent video, Grow a Beard Now, one of the lines was, only women pluck their gray beard hair, which is understandable. Grow a beard! And the reason I said that is because there have been many moments when I have stared myself in the face while standing in front of the bathroom mirror, and out from my chin juts one single gray beard hair. And I've been tempted at times to take my tweezers and then pluck the living snot out of it. But I've restrained myself, because I feel a collection of gray chin hairs is simply wisdom. That's what it is. I'm collecting wisdom and sporting them proudly from my cheeks. So no, I do not pluck my gray beard hairs, and I hope to one day have quite a collection of wise mane hanging from my face. Stumphorn says it worked for Gandalf. Indeed, it did, right? So there you go. As Zoran says, hey Ox, I just wanted to say thank you for brightening up my day last week. It's safe to say that my week's got a lot better since. Thanks. You're welcome. I'm really glad, you know. So I really hope Scotch and Smoke Rings can feel like a place where people can come, just kind of unload and enjoy a time with good company, where we're all here just to have a fantastic time enjoying ourselves. So if that is what happened to you last week, then I'm really glad. Big J Machine says, hey guys, I just wanted to say Oxhorn is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He doesn't let fame block him from his fans. I wish I could have thanked him better at BlizzCon 2010, but if any of you guys, and then it cuts off there. If any of you guys get to meet him, he's one of the nicest guys ever. I totally didn't just read that because it was praising me. No, it's not the kind of guy I am. But his comment is true. We'll see. Tech9 Necropi on Twitch TV says, sup chat room. Sup? Happy to have you here, Holmes. We're actually all at scotchandsmokerings.com, so if you'd like to partake in that particular chat, everybody's there. But I'm happy to answer your questions here at Twitch TV as well. Goldbreath says, hey Ox, I've been watching the Team Fortress 2 machinimas, and remember the Team Fortress 2 machinimas you took part in. Would you ever don those characters again? I had thought of it. In fact, I actually worked on a script for another one that I wanted to do. Whoa, I'm hearing myself. There we go. Anyway, I had thought of reviving those characters and doing other movies, but sadly, I just do not have the time. So, maybe someday, if I become a millionaire... Oh, by the way, this has been something I've been meaning to say. If any of you in chat happen to have billions of dollars, maybe a fleet of motorcycles, your own private army, an island in the Caribbean, feel free to throw a couple million my way. I can promise you that I'd invest it wisely and continue to produce my machinima. Until that time, I may be sadly forced to work my full-time job, which I do enjoy. So any billionaires that happen to be Oxhorn fans, just letting you know. Forrest Ill says it's time for smoke rings. You haven't done any yet. Indeed, well, I haven't done any yet. That's a shame of me. Tekka9 Necroppy in Twitch TV says, just randomly seen Scotch and smoke rings and was like, yeah, let's see what this is. Alright, you want to see what this is? Feel free to join the chat at scotchandsmokerings.com. But it is indeed time for smoke rings. Nethel Holyhammer says, Ox, don't become a gold beggar. No, I wouldn't become a gold beggar. I'm a credit card number beggar. I kid, but I'm not afraid of handouts. Smoke rings. Oh, Tech9 Crappie. Got you. My apologies. How's that, huh? Big J Machine says, here's my credit card number, 123456789, 1234567. Thank you. I'm going to put that to good use later. Appreciate it. As Oron says, imagine it. Just having Ox walking around behind you, narrating your day. Azeron is walking down the street, enjoying the sunny day as the birds chirp behind him. He spots a French cafe to his left, but decides he doesn't have time, so instead he stands by the bus stop and boards the bus, where he sees a beautiful redhead sitting alone in a seat and decides to sit next to her because he is a bold man of action, ready to talk with the classy lady at any moment. He starts the conversation by saying, well, hello, classy lady. Where are you off to this fine spring evening? And she says, I am off to the gym to have an exercise session with my private yoga trainer. And then he says, well, that sounds fantastic. You definitely look like you exercise because you are in fantastic shape. She then turns to him and says, why, thank you for complimenting my physique. I am now impressed by your manliness. Here is my phone number. Right? Would that work? Okay. Yeah, I could definitely narrate lives. Dan says, and then she says, who the heck is that guy behind you? Indeed. Indeed. Tech9 Crappie. I'm sorry, I said a wrong word. Crappie. Tech9 Crappie says, what brand of drink and smoke Ox? My dear friend, I am drinking Scoresby, single malt, or blended Scotch whiskey. I do apologize. Blended Scotch whiskey. I normally drink single malt. I do prefer single malt, but this was cheap. So I got blended Scotch whiskey. It's actually a very nice blended Scotch whiskey. And I'm almost done with it. So in backup, I have some Evan Williams. Yeah, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's not Scotch, therefore it's not quite suitable for Scotch and smoke rings. But I do have it in backup, on reserve, just in case my supplies run low. So Ben says, Brandon, I'm about to go to a little party tomorrow. What kind of cigar should I go for? Or should I bring a pipe? Classy enough? Both are classy choices. It really kind of depends on the company within which you find yourself. If they happen to be classy smoke aficionados, then either choice is going to be good. If they have sensitive noses, then I would go with a pipe, because pipe tobacco smoke tends to be a little bit more sensitive to the delicate sinuses. But both are great. If you want to go with a cigar, and if you haven't smoked many pardon me, if you haven't smoked many cigars in the past, I would go to your local tobacconist and find a Romeo y Julieta cigar, probably a Churchill size, and then a mild consistency. This is a very dark cigar, as you can tell from the wrapper. It's almost black. That means that it's going to be very strong. If you want something a little lighter, because this is your first cigar, try and get a lighter color cigar. You don't want to go too light, because then the flavor is just going to be bland. Get a medium looking, it's kind of got a, it looks like a walnut shell. That's the kind of color I'm going for. Try that, and then if you want to bring a pipe, just find yourself a nice tobacco pipe that's hand carved from a single piece of briar wood. You don't want pressed wood tobacco pipes. Second 98 says Uncle Ox. There you go. Have you ever worked, or have you ever heard of or used the word dingus? It's not a bad word, but I was just wondering if you've heard it before. Yes. I heard it in Futurama during the episode where the aliens from Omicron Persei 8 invade Earth because they wanted to see a TV show that had gone off the air 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, restored, and so they went to go eat Leela, and she referred to Zap Brannigan and Fry as Wingus and Dingus. I do have a useless encyclopedia knowledge of Futurama for some reason. Gort is in the chat. Oh, good to see you, Gort. Hope all is well. He asks, who is your favorite cigar-smoking fictional character? Pipe smoking. This is a good question. This is the kind of question I relish. Time to lift a gentleman and get a glass and ponder. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Ponder time. Fictional character, you say? Honestly, I really am going to have to say Bender for cigars. I know that he is a crass little tin man who is not really classy in most regards. That's true. But he is a character. Quite a character, in fact. And I have a fondness for him. So I'm going to say Bender for cigars. And then in terms of pipes, you know, those are all, there are many great contenders. They're going on in chat right now. Popeye, Gandalf, Sherlock. Those are all really great. I don't know if I would say that they're my favorite, but I can't really think of any that would be different. Do I count as a fictional character? I mean, I am real, but I also kind of am fictional. I guess me. I would be my favorite fictional pipe-smoking character. Is that narcissistic? Oh, I'm sorry. Tsuko the Hunter says, what the fuck am I watching? Are you Amish? My friend, so this goes back to a comment that I responded to on Facebook a few days ago. Somebody said, I was thinking about growing a beard, but everybody would come up to me and ask, are you Jewish or are you Amish? And that would make me uncomfortable. Here's a prime example. I have just been asked if I am Amish, but that doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, I am flattered that someone would think of me as being part of that fine organization. So I would simply answer and say, no, I sadly am not Amish. The Amish are distinguished by having a shaved upper lip. They have a full beard, but a shaved upper lip. And I obviously have a mustache, so no, I am not Amish. I am, instead, Irish. Genetically Irish. I never actually came from Ireland, but my ancestors did. What kind of question is that? Big J Machine says, who's your favorite hot-bodied celebrity? I'm going to have to say the Flaming Torch. from the Fantastic Four. That's his name, right? The Flaming Torch, I think. I mean, he's hot. He's on fire. So, he's just kind of burning. I can't really think of any other hot-bodied individuals ever, besides the ones that are... Oh, Human Torch. Human Torch, sorry. I am not up on my comic book nomenclature. My apologies. Oh, yes, the Human Torch. Thank you. Greg Hartung says, if I were to send you a video of me running errands, would you narrate it? Okay, yeah, I will. Greg, if you send me a video of you running errands, I will gladly narrate it, send you the audio, you can mix them together and then upload it to YouTube or something. I'd be happy to. This is just for you, Greg Hartung, because you've been a long-time fan. I'm not giving this offer to everybody, but if Greg Hartung wants to have me narrate his day, then yes. That'd be fun. Oh, great question. Ninja Header says, Oxhorn, do you dip your cigars in brandy? I don't, because I don't normally drink brandy. However, I do sometimes dip them in Scotch. And so here's the tip. If, ladies and gentlemen, you want to sort of stave off the initial flavor of the cigar, you can take it before you cut it, typically, and then just dip it in the Scotch. I'm going to do so now, just a tad to demonstrate, but not so much because I don't want it to get kind of moist in my mouth or anything. And then you can taste the great flavor of the Scotch, or the brandy in your case, while smoking your gentlemanly cigar. Hey, J-Man Mousy is in the chat. He's an old friend of mine. We used to work together a long time ago. He says, what if his errand was narrating other videos? I would be happy to narrate somebody else narrating other videos. That would be fine. Another great question. Gorn says, if you could travel 200 years in the past or 2000, which would you choose? I guess it would depend on where I would end up. Because 200 years ago, in South America, in some forest, wouldn't be so bad. The Industrial Revolution wouldn't have started yet. The Spaniards would be there, though, so I don't know. I guess it depends on what part of the globe. So, Grant, refine your question a little bit. Tell me where located in the world I would be, because that would definitely make a difference. I wouldn't want to go back in time 200 years where my particular religious belief would be persecuted or people had a bias against bearded people. That would be bad. But similarly, I wouldn't want to go 2,000 years into the past and wind up in the Roman Colosseum. That would also be bad. So, my choice of place. Oh, that makes things even more interesting. This is a hard one, man. Why do you gotta ask me these hard questions? All right. All right. This is what I would do. I would go 200 years in the past in Greenland so that I could see whether or not global warming is really responsible for the polar ice caps melting. Because if I appeared in Greenland 200 years in the past and there was less ice than there is today, then I could tell you for a fact that global warming is not man-made. That would be interesting, wouldn't you think? Of course, I'd probably die within an hour because it's cold there and there wouldn't be any technology, but it would be worth it. My curiosity would be satiated. I'm a cute little hardcore kitten, says Ox. If you could check your Facebook, maybe. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to refresh the comments here on scotchandsmokerings.com. Hawkstar says, this day in history. Do you remember that series I used to do for Wii Game? Oh no, this series was called Moments in Gaming History. Oh, so that was different. Sebastian on the Facebook says, greetings from Sweden. Well, pleasure to have you here. Hej då, tack så mycket. Jag är... Hur säger man glad på svenska? Jag är... No, det var mycket bra om du är här. I probably completely botched that up, didn't I? It's been a long time. But I don't think that's the comment that I was directed to Facebook to answer, so I'm going to refresh my actual Facebook page at facebook.com/Oxhorn page. Maybe the question is there. Okay, Tech9 Crappie says, okay, Ox, peanut butter or jelly, and what first and why? Easy, easy. Peanut butter, definitely. Jelly is some sort of berry, and it's sweetened with artificial sweeteners. I'm not fond of jelly at all. There's no jelly on earth that I like. Neither do I like chutney, which I think is just a form of jelly, honestly. But peanut butter, definitely, because I do like peanuts. Now, it would have to be a peanut butter that doesn't have any sugar in it, because then it just gets too sweet, and it's bad for you. Ah, here we go. Kyle, it's your question. Asks, this is going to be the last time I'm going to ask this, because I don't like spamming you, but since I was gone for a few months, is my chance of becoming a mod on the show gone now? No, your chance is definitely not gone. However, let's see, I would have to remember exactly how to do it. It's been a long time, and I would have to be reminded of it. So, give me a chance, my friend. Maybe send me an email to remind me, and I'll see if I can do it later. No promises, though. I'm not promising, because I do have things that take up my time. But if I remember, and all the stars align, and you know, all that happens, then yeah, maybe. Oster Cactus says, Dear Ox, do you comb your beard? Indeed I do. I'm not a Philistine. Good grief. Every morning it is my morning ritual to pull out my distinctly purchased beard comb and then stand in front of the mirror grooming all of the knots and kinks that have developed over the night of tossing and turning with my chin in a pillow. I brush them out so that I do not look like some sort of frazzled homeless person. That's just my morning routine. Doesn't mean it has to be everybody's. If you do want a beard comb, however, you can purchase one from growabeard.com. Gort asks, if you could have any animal as a pet and it would be obedient, which would you choose? Turtle, obviously. You of all people should know this. Remember when I used to bring Hat into the office? He didn't care what I said. I could say, go fetch my socks, oh Hat the turtle, and he would just look at me wanting a worm. And that's fine, I would give him a worm, but afterwards he would just go to sleep. He didn't do what I said, but if he did obey me, now that would be interesting. A turtle that obeys my every whim? That's awesome. Psycho98 says, wouldn't it be a dragon? Oh yeah. I could rule the world with a dragon that obeyed me, couldn't I? I didn't think about that. Might have to amend my answer. Where's your scotch? Asks Mirren. Right here, my friend. Cheers and bottoms up. Are you a Jew? He asks. See, I told you, everybody. Amish or Jew. I am not a Jew, though. I have a great respect for the Jewish culture. Instead, I am Irish. Panda Monster asks, hey Ox, what band is playing in the background? Right now I am listening to a free radio station called Radio Dismuke. I don't have any sort of formal monetary relationship with them whatsoever. I just really enjoy their website. Google Radio Dismuke and you can hear this kind of music streaming 24/7. And they even have retro commercials from the time period which sometimes play. It's a great station. It's just one of my faves. ThunderGod91 says, Oxhorn, sir, are you tapping your cigar? I know, that's horrible, but the ash already fell off of it. I tend to smoke them until the ash falls off of its own accord, but if the cigar has already lost its first initial dab of ash, I do sometimes tap it into my little receptacle here. This is my ashtray. It's called a stinky cigar ashtray. As you can see, it has the remnants of many cigars inside. But yes, I am tapping it. Dan says, would you recommend a comb of whalebone or ivory? Is that a loaded question? Should I harvest the ivory myself? What about the whalebone? Dan, alright, you're getting me into dangerous territory here. PETA, depending on the answer to this question, could knock on my door and demand that I issue a public apology. Do I say ivory, and then have all of the elephant hunters go out and kill elephants to harvest ivory to make beard combs? Or do I say whalebone, and then have all of the Japanese whalers go out and kill a whole bunch of whales to make beard combs? It's hard. I'm going to say meerschaum. Yes, beard combs should be made from meerschaum. That's right. Google it. Google it. Tusco the Hunter says you should also wear a monocle. I know, but it's in my other drawer. My beautiful wife corrects me and says, Peta? Lol, it's Peta. Did I say Peta? I did mean Peta. Peta. Wait, no, it is Peta, isn't it? P-E-T-A? Pronounced Peta? Or is it pronounced Peta? I know what you're thinking, Lepidus of Rune Totem, but he's on vacation. That's all I'm going to say on the topic. He's exploring the world, as turtles tend to do. It's just the nature of things. Say the E in as in ethical, asks Scornt. Ethical. Peta, right? Yeah. It's the only logical choice, indeed. It's not pita, as in the wonderful sandwich. No, it's peta, as in ethical and endearing. No, not endearing, because that would be Ida. Pita. Ostracactus says, can we name your hat? Well, you did name my beard. This is now Zugzug, everybody. Say hello to Zugzug. If you want to name my hat, I'm more than happy to have it named. I don't know if we have time in the show today to go through all of the choices, though. Yes, it is 8:02. That means the show is officially over. All right, bye, everybody. No, I'm kidding. We have a smoke ship to go through. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for smoke ship. Today, I will blow into existence a smoke ship of your choice. That's right, I am one of the few mortals on this earth that has the ability to weave smoke into the shape or visage of some sort of nautical vessel, like Gandalf. So if you would like me to blow a smoke ship, what is on your mind, I am happy to listen to your suggestions and then pick the one that I like best. Can you say hello to your German friends, asks M. Warner. Yes. Hail. How do you say hi in German? Willkommen? Hi to all my German friends. I don't know German, but I welcome you anyway. Oh, hallo. Hallo. That sounds Jewish. Hallo. I don't know how to say hello in German. Jerk has been banned by Ironbark. Ironbark says, I got to ban a jerk tonight. I'm happy. Me too. I'm glad you got to ban a jerk too. Hello, says ThunderGod91. Hello. Is that how I say it? Gulbred says, Ox and Gandalf talking over a blueprint for a magical smoke ship machinima, while all the chat people think of a name for Ox's hat. All the while, Mort and Mr. Evil hunt elves for the elf-bone beard combs. An elf-bone beard comb, I believe I can sanction that. I officially endorse elf-bone beard combs. Yeah. Zoran says, Oxhorn narrating the life of some random boat captain who's trying to escape Peta, or Peta, in a pursuit in the great expanse of space. Okay? Hades says, Ox transported into a steampunk era where everyone is classy, smoking mechanical cigars. Oh, I don't know if I would want to smoke a mechanical cigar. It may taste like engine oil. ThunderGod91 corrects me and says, or Willkommen, mein Freunds, say it as spelled. W sounds like a V. Willkommen, mein Freunds. Is that how I say welcome, my friends? That makes sense. English is a Germanic language, so I'm sure German and English have much in common. Forrest Ill says I should name the hat Steed after John Steed of the Avengers. I need to see the movie, don't I? Yeah, I should see it. Ox riding a motorcycle while running over leper gnomes in Durotar. Nice. Greg Hartung says, Oxhorn pulverizing pandas and elves on 12-ton peta sandwiches while narrating Greg Hartung's life. 12-ton peta sandwiches? Psyche98 says, Blood Elf Bacon, Panda Pizza, gnome gumbo, and night elf nachos on top of a giant panda whose stomach is made of an ocean of the finest Scotch with Ox, Nova, and Gavin sailing on a ship to kill all. I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, we have found a winner. How can you beat that? Blood elf bacon, panda pizzas, and gnome gumbo with night elf nachos? I really don't think there's anything better in the world. That is it, my friends. This is a smoke ship. We got one brewing here. Rolling up my sleeves, everybody. A little bit of scotch to get me started. Alright, here we go. Smoke chip time. Pay close attention. If you blink, you're going to miss it. Ready? Alright. White Foxy says, hello, I love your vids. Does Oxhorn read chat? Yes, I do read chat. I just noticed it. Thank you, White Foxy. Alright, here we go. Whoa! Did you see it? I hope you took a screenshot. If you didn't, you missed it forever. But for the bravest of moments, there before your eyes was a beautiful painting, painted in nothing but smoke. And we had blood elf bacon, panda pizzas, gnome gumbo, and night elf nachos. On top of a giant panda whose stomach is made of an ocean of the finest Scotch, with Ox, my beautiful wife Nova, and baby Gavin sailing on a ship to kill them all. That has got to be a masterpiece. It was very nicely done. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful suggestion, Psycho98. And thank you to everybody for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 164. That's right, 164. Goldbreath says, wait a second, are panda pizzas officially a thing now? I have Cy and I made them as a thing. I think they are a thing now. You're going to have to petition Blizzard and have them add panda pizzas as one of the food items that you can use to be well fed. I think that's going to have to be one of those things. And even Night Elf nachos, because I think that really sealed it for me. Night Elf nachos, I can just imagine dipping their pointy little ears in cheese. Was that a bit graphic? I'm sorry. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Be sure to tune in next week, same Ox time, same Ox channel, for Scotch and Smoke Rings episode 165. Also, go to growabeardnow.com. Lots of great things added to growabeardnow.com. In fact, I added some beard face masks to growabeardnow.com if you'd like to take a look at them. They're great for skiing or the cold weather. And I've also got a blog there that I'm going to maintain with all sorts of beardly goodness. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen, this evening. And as always, we say here at scotchandsmokerings.com, be sure, my friends, to stay classy.
The great music of the 1920s and 1930s deserves to have an appreciative modern audience. You can help it find that audience. Why not email your friends right now? Let them know about the wonderful music you're enjoying right here on Radio This Mute.